Guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Madison, and if not, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a video that has been pretty heavily requested on Instagram and something that I love to watch from other YouTubers that have done the college program as well, and that is a crazy guest stories video. So anyone that works at Disney in any department has to deal with some of the actually most insane people in the world. You get all kinds of people that come to Disney World. So many of them are cool, so many of them are normal, but then there's this small group of people that are just really so strange in what they think is socially acceptable and permissible to say to somebody else that's working in customer service. But when you work for Disney, sometimes people ruin your day, but you really quickly learn to shake it off and laugh at it. And if you can't laugh at it that day, you can definitely laugh at it down the road, and that's where I'm at now. It's been long enough now that some of these stories that were scarring in the beginning are just funny now, and it's kind of crazy to me to think back on how ridiculous some people can be. So for starters, I just want to share a story about not one person in particular, but about far too many people as far as I'm concerned. And this is about people that show up to Epcot and don't know where they are. This happens all the time, every single day. People would show up to Epcot, they'd go into the park, and then 4 hours later, they'd come out and come to your booth and say, sorry, where's the castle? How do you not know where you are? How did it take you 4 hours to realize that there's not a castle? It happens all the time, every single day. So people actually go into the park and walk around for hours looking for the castle, but also enjoying themselves on the side. And then they come out and they either want a refund or want an explanation of where the castle is. So for a long time, I didn't understand this. I thought if you put Magic Kingdom into Google Maps, or even if you put Disney World really, it's probably going to take you to the Magic Kingdom. So how did you not get there? You drove a car here. I'm kind of concerned about you as a person for coming to the wrong place. You went through the gates that said Epcot. You can see the ball. So wouldn't you be like, oh, I thought there was going to be a castle? Whatever. I thought this for the longest time, and I was judging everybody. I did come to find out that a lot of the resorts that are not Disney owned but are Disney local, so all the Marriott Village resorts, Holiday Inns, stuff like that, that offer transportation to the parks, usually offer transportation to the Epcot parking lot under the assumption that guests will then be able to get themselves to wherever it is that they need to be. So you can take the monorail to Magic Kingdom, or you can take the buses to Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom. But the Epcot parking lot is huge. It's really easy. The Magic Kingdom parking lot is not so easy to bring buses into and stuff like that. So I think that's why people get confused. They get told that they're being brought to Disney. They don't listen to the bus driver or the announcement saying that you're being dropped off at Epcot. And then they go into the parks and are surprised that there's no castle. A lot of people don't realize that Walt Disney World has multiple parks. They think it's just the one with the castle. That's what you see on the advertisement. So they do get confused, and Walt Disney World will help you if you come out within 10-15 minutes. And this happens all the time. We'd have guests that went into the park, they bought a one-day ticket from us, they didn't really say anything, they'd go in, 15 minutes later they'd come back out and say, we didn't see the castle, what's going on? We'd just refund the ticket so that they could go to Magic Kingdom and they'd be good to go. But some people go in for 5-6 hours, they come out at 2 p.m. and they're like, we want a refund. No, we can't refund you for that because you've gone on rides, you've gone to lunch, you've met characters, you've done stuff while you were in there, unless you were genuinely walking around for 6 hours, but then that's just a whole other issue. So yeah, it happens all the time, and I think that's just one of the strangest things that happens at Epcot, and I'm assuming it happens at Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom as well. All right, so my first story about an actual set of guests was one that kind of upset me when it first happened. I speak Spanish 90%. I lived in Spain for a while. My boyfriend's from Spain. Whenever I talk to his whole family, I speak Spanish, and I'm good but not great. I make mistakes from time to time. But when I was at Disney World, I spoke Spanish with dozens of guests every single day. I sold them tickets, I found their tickets, I helped with issues. There was really no problem. Until one day I had a set of guests, a family that came to me from the Dominican Republic. They asked if I spoke Spanish, and they were trying to get to the Magic Kingdom and they needed directions. So I told them, yep, you have to go to the monorail, you have to take the monorail to the TTC, get off, switch monorails, and then take another one to the Magic Kingdom. So obviously these directions are really difficult in English too. They're kind of confusing. Like, I would explain it to people and they'd be like, what are you saying? What's TTC? What's monorail? What's, all this terminology. But instead these people just started laughing at me, and they laughed and laughed and laughed, and they were all laughing amongst each other. And one of them just looked at me while she was laughing and shaking her head, and she said, we can't understand a single thing you're saying. First of all, that's not very nice. I would never judge somebody else ever for trying to speak another language, because that's a really big thing. And it is a really nerve-wracking thing and a vulnerable thing, because you're doing something that you're not necessarily fully confident in. But I was speaking Spanish to help them because they didn't speak English and I speak both. So because it's Disney and you're not allowed to say anything mean, but you can be passive-aggressive as you want if nobody sees, I looked at them and I smiled my best Disney smile and I said, okay, would you prefer that I give you the instructions in English then? And all of them just stopped laughing. We're like, oh, we don't speak English. Right, okay, so then don't be rude to people that are trying to help you get to where you're going. So in the end, I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if they went to someone that actually spoke Spanish, like a native speaker or something like that. If they got lost, don't really care. They weren't nice. But yeah, if you go to the parks, maybe just don't make fun of people that are trying to help you. That's a lesson to take away from this. Also, I would give these instructions every day in Spanish, in English, to all different kinds of people, and they were all like, okay, great, that's fine, we get it. So I don't understand, maybe they came from a really small town where they weren't used to any other type of Spanish besides their specific Spanish, but still, I wasn't that bad. I know I'm not that bad, so I'm not really chuffed about it. Okay, so this next guest is probably the scariest guest I ever had, and this was when I was still in my on-the-job training, so I had my little earning my ears badge on. This man came up to my window from far away, shaking his hands already. You could tell he was angry before he even got up to me, and I was just hoping and praying that he would go to some other window, but no, he came right up to me and started yelling immediately. Apparently what had happened is this gentleman was from Pennsylvania, and he saw a TV advertisement that said Walt Disney World tickets starting from $99. Instead of doing what any normal person would do, going on the internet, planning, looking into hotels and tickets and creating a vacation on your budget, he told his whole family to get in the car right away. And they drove from Pennsylvania to Florida. That day. Commercial came on, they dropped everything, they got in the car and they went. Or at least that's what he told me. So they got in the car and they drove 20 hours to Florida. And at some point before they got into Epcot, this man learned that the tickets were not $99. They were starting from $99. It says that on TV. It says it in the small print. It says it everywhere you look. But he thought all the tickets for all his family were going to be $99, and that would be just dandy. So somehow he heard that they were not. $99 is for a child without tax during the low season. He is an adult that needs to pay tax, and it was the busiest season because it was the middle of summer. So a one-day ticket for Magic Kingdom was looking at $132. He heard this at some point and decided that he was furious and he was going to come to my window because obviously I am the person that made the commercial and gave him the wrong information, and just scream and scream and scream at me. So coordinators had to come out, managers had to come out to try and pacify this man. He was up in arms and he was adamant that he was going to be given a $99 ticket. Now, that's not even an option. Even if I wanted to just say, you know what, sir, I'll just give you a little discount. The system doesn't let you do that. So there was no option to get a $99 ticket for that day, but I also didn't really feel too bad for him. I did say to him that he could go to Disney Springs, and he said, no, I will be going to a park for $99. And I said, right, okay, you can go to the water parks then. So I pulled up the water park tickets. I tried to show him. He said, nope, we're going to Magic Kingdom. I don't even remember what ended up happening. The managers obviously just told him to leave, and he turned around and headed right back out. I don't know if they drove 20 hours back to Pennsylvania or if they just decided they were going to pay the $30 difference. But I mean, I can't imagine what that man even paid for a hotel if they just got in the car that day and drove down. Hotel prices are expensive when you just show up. So He was a wild one. He was probably the meanest person I ever had, and it was really scary because I was brand new and didn't know what to do, but the trainers were really good about it, the coordinators were really good about it, and everybody kind of handled him and told him to go away because we don't make the website or the TV. Read the small print, people. Okay, so this one's not that exciting, but on New Year's Eve, I worked from 8 in the morning until 10 at night, and it was such a long shift. I was like losing the will to live very quickly, but everyone was really nice. It was a busy day in the morning because Magic Kingdom closed to capacity, and so everybody was filtered back to Epcot where they had to sort of figure out what they were going to do. So it was a high intensity day. It was a 14-hour shift, which you just don't get as a vacation planner, so none of us were really used to working this many hours in a day. And I was on the last hour of it. It was sometime around 9:30. I was set to close really soon, and we still had a lot of windows open. So if you can imagine, the booths have 2 people in each booth, and then there's 2 and 2 and 2, and they go all the way down. Well, I was the furthest one down, except there was nobody else in my booth, so the curtains were closed and I was just by myself on the one side. These 2 boys, who were about my age at the time, walked up, and they were Russian. They came up to my window and I said, hey, how can I help you? What kind of tickets do you want? Whatever. And the one boy said, my friend doesn't speak any English, but he thinks you're really cute. Have you seen the vest that I'm wearing? Nobody's cute in that thing. But still, that's inappropriate when someone's working and you don't know them, and just don't ask people on dates at their jobs. So yeah, they basically stood there and harassed me for a long time, and there was nothing I could really do because I was by myself and nobody could see me, and it was absolutely dead. There wasn't anybody in the queue that I could say hey guys, you gotta keep moving because I've gotta help someone else. It was just the 3 of us. Luckily I was in the booth. There was no physical intimidation, but I just didn't like them being there. And they kept taking down information about me. They were oh, her name's Madison. From her name tag, we can see that she went to the University of Miami. She works at Disney. And I was they're gonna find me on the internet. That's really creepy. Luckily, a coordinator walked by and I kind of waved him down, and he could see that I was really uncomfortable and came and had me close my window and close up for the night. But yeah, they were really creepy. Don't ask cast members on dates. Don't do it. Okay, this lady is my favorite because she was just the worst, and I'm so glad things didn't work out for her. I know that sounds mean, but you'll understand in a minute. People come to Disney and try to do anything they can do to take advantage of the system, and Disney's obviously so good at making sure that people don't do that. But still, they're naive and they try, and it makes them look stupid in the end. So I had a lady that came up to my window with a male friend, have no idea what his relation was to her, and he was standing to the side of her, and she gave me a will call barcode. So I scanned the barcode and I found out that she had purchased a 4-day Florida resident ticket. So at the time, there was a huge offer for the 3- and 4-day Florida resident tickets, and she had purchased one at the time. So I scanned her Magic Band and discovered that she was a Florida resident platinum pass holder. What that means is that she had an annual pass that allowed her to go into the park 365 days of the year. So why do you need a 4-day pass? So I said to her, oh, is this for your friend? And she said, oh, no. He has tickets already. He didn't have a Magic Band on. He wasn't showing me tickets, nothing. But I said, okay, who's it for? And she said, oh, it's for me. And I said, okay, but you have a platinum pass. And she said, yeah, well, I just wanted to buy this one. I have never in my life just wanted to buy a $250 ticket, just for fun when I already had a ticket. So obviously we all know what's going on here. She's trying to buy it for this guy who's not a Florida resident, just not realizing that we were going to catch on within seconds. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to entertain this delusion of yours, and I'm going to pretend that I'm on board with you. So I said, oh, okay, if you want to do that, that's fine. Just tap your Magic Band here. And she said, okay. I saw her Florida driver's license. She tapped her Magic Band, and I said, hey, you're good to go. Your ticket's on your Magic Band. And this is when she started to realize something was wrong. So she said, oh, I don't get one of those cards. And obviously, as vacation planners, we had Magic Bands that people could purchase, and we had the plastic card media. So if you didn't want a Magic Band, all of your tickets would come on the plastic card media. This lady clearly did not realize that It doesn't matter whether you have a card or a Magic Band. Everything is linked in cyberspace in your My Disney Experience account. So she's got her Magic Band. I said the ticket was on it. Then she says she wants one of those cards. Like, how in the world do you think I'm gonna believe that you're still trying to buy this ticket for yourself? But I said, yeah, sure, if you'd like a card, I can give you a card. So I tapped that to the card reader. That card is now connected to her My Disney Experience account. I gave it to her. She smiled like she had just, really pulled one over on Walt Disney himself and walked away. So when it was busy, we didn't really have time to see how these situations played out. So, these people just walked away and you have to think, I wonder what happened to them. But wait, there's more. They tried to go in the park, and obviously she scanned her Magic Band in her finger. After leaving my booth, she gave the card to her friend. Shocker, I know. And he scanned that and put his fingerprint down, and it failed. Why? Because it's connected to her account, so it's expecting her finger. So guest relations had to come over, and they were all kinds of complaining, and they said, oh, that vacation planner over there didn't know what she was doing. She must have linked our stuff. Like, he's a Florida resident. Okay, so the guest relations cast member said, okay, well, if that girl really does suck, let's go back and we'll tell her she sucks. And the guest relations cast member brought them back to me and said, hi there, you did their tickets incorrectly. Let me just show you. They both are accidentally linked to the same account. Can you just separate those? And they were standing there like, we got you. Like, now we're on top of the fact that we're going to get into the system. We're getting you in trouble. No. Instead, I was like, oh, actually, this lady came up. She has an annual pass, but she told me she wanted to purchase this for herself. Since her friend isn't a Florida resident, she told me he already had tickets. And their faces just dropped, like busted. That's what you get. So yeah, the guest relations cast member was like, okay, well, you've been lying to me and you've been lying to her, and none of us really feel bad for you, so we're not going to do anything for you. So they had to pay the difference in between the Florida resident price and the regular ticket price for what that guy wanted. So I think at that point, the only things they could upgrade to was a 3 or 4 day ticket, and they had to pay the price, and they completely had their tails between their legs when they were standing there swiping their credit card. But that's what you get for just lying to literally everyone to try and win one over on Walt Disney World. Okay, last story. These guys, oh, they were so cute. I was working one day, and just like the world's oldest couple came up to my window. I could see them working their way through the queue, and they were just moving so slowly that I was like, are they ever gonna make it? Are they? And they did. So they came to my window, and first they showed me their wrists. People can buy Magic Bands. Magic Bands are plastic. They have Mickey on them. Their wrists said like Cabana K Motel or something like that. And they were like, are we good? And I was like, no, I don't know what. I think that's like a pool admissions wristband for the off-site hotel you're staying at. I'm not really sure. And I was like, no, you're not good. What is it that you're trying to do? So the lady goes, we want to see the bear show. And I'm sitting at Epcot like, what could she possibly be talking about? Like, what bear show? They say it about 3 times that they're here to see the bear show. And I put it together that they're probably talking about the Country Bear Jamboree, of all things, bless them. So they want to see the Country Bear Jamboree. I felt horrible explaining that you have to pay like $130 to see the Country Bear Jamboree, but at the same time, there's nothing I can do. If they want to go to Magic Kingdom, they've got to pay the tickets. So I said, right, you have to have tickets for Magic Kingdom, just to let you know you're at Epcot. So first I explained to them how to get to Magic Kingdom. They said they already had tickets, and I said, that's great then, you can go straight there, but do you want me to just check them for you? And they said yes, that I could check the tickets, and then they'd go to Magic Kingdom to see the bear show. And they whip out their tickets. And when I signed up for the Disney College program, I never would have imagined having to look someone in the eye and say this, but I had to look at them and say, I'm sorry folks, those are not tickets to Magic Kingdom. That's a CC's Pizza reward card. Oh, they were so confused. But yeah, they had a hotel swipe key that on one side was like a pizza reward advertisement for CC's. And I don't think the hotel like tried to scam them or anything. I don't think they like paid money to the hotel and then were given this. I think they were just really confused what was going on. because their hotel must have said that it was like all inclusive or something and they thought that meant Disney, but like they were staying at a motel in the Walmart parking lot and they wanted to go see the Country Bears with a Cece's Pizza Reward hotel key. I don't know what happened to them. I sold them tickets, but with how long it took them to just get up my queue, it probably took them another 2 hours to get to the Magic Kingdom. They were so nice, but they were just so confused. So those are the really strange guest stories that I experienced during my program. I'm sure anyone from the DCP could give you a long list of just really strange guests that you get while you're there. If you have any questions or comments, just drop them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you real soon.